Subnautica 2 is due to enter early access sometime this year, so I decided to replay both Subnautica and its not-quite sequel Below Zero, both because I have fond memories of these games, and to refresh my memory on the story. If you don't have that kind of time, this video can give you a summary. This won't be a comprehensive lore video, just the major points that you'd probably remember if you had played the games recently. Subnautica begins, well, like this.
Launch in 3, 2, 1.
After stepping out of your life pod, you see the wreck of the Aurora, the enormous spaceship that you were aboard. You're in the middle of the ocean, on a mysterious foreign planet. There's no land to be seen anywhere on the horizon. Thankfully, your trusty PDA comes equipped with an AI system that can help make items that you need to survive by analyzing your environment. Your scanning tool becomes your new best friend, as the data you collect opens up new possibilities to make your life here easier. You learn to care for your basic needs first: food, water, and because you're spending much of your time diving,
oxygen.
As you gather the materials you need to survive, your PDA reminds you that even though you're marooned on an alien planet, you still work for the Man. In this case, the Man is a giant corporation called Altera.
Remember that materials you gather are the property of the Altera Corporation. You will be liable to reimburse the full market price. Your current bill stands at 3 million credits.
On the radio, you occasionally hear distress calls from other life pods. As you go to investigate each, you find that there are no survivors. But there may be useful tech to scan, so you got that at least. Your PDA starts to notice high levels of bacteria in the water, and recommends that you scan yourself. It turns out you're infected, but fine, for now. Eventually, on the radio, you hear that another ship, the Sunbeam, has heard Aurora's distress call, and is coming to rescue you. Hooray! Although it does seem a little soon for the game to be ending since we are just getting comfortable, but nonetheless, you head over to the landing site where you find, much to your surprise, a huge alien-looking building. It seems that there is, or perhaps was, intelligent life on this planet. As the Sunbeam prepares to land, the building starts to move while ominously humming and pointing, perhaps aiming in the direction of the Sunbeam's approach. Seconds before the planned landing, the building fires a giant laser at the Sunbeam, vaporizing it instantly. Looking on in horror at the debris cloud where the Sunbeam was just a moment ago, you realize that this must be what happened to the Aurora, shot down by this alien weapon. Naturally, you decide to investigate the alien installation. There are no aliens in there, but there is some information that your PDA is able to decipher. You learn that this facility is called the Enforcement Platform. There is a button to disable it, but when you press it, a robotic arm forcibly draws a blood sample from you, and then informs you that
infected individuals may not disable the weapon. This planet is under quarantine.
This infection must be pretty bad if they had to quarantine a whole planet. It seems pretty bleak for you. But the data you retrieve from the Enforcement Platform does give you some leads on what to do next. It tells you that there are other alien facilities in the area, a disease research facility at a depth of 800 meters beneath the ocean's surface, and a thermal power facility at a depth of 1,200 meters. Since you're not being rescued anytime soon, you set up a more permanent home here. A message comes over the radio that they know about your crash back at home, but you're going to have to meet them halfway because of how remote this planet is. They tell you that the captain's quarters back on the Aurora has blueprints for a rocket that you can use to get off the planet. You venture to the wreck of the Aurora to collect the plans, but you can't launch a rocket without getting blown to smithereens by the Enforcement Platform. And so, your two main goals become clear. 1, find a way to disable the Enforcement Platform, and 2, build the rocket, after which you'll be able to launch yourself off this planet and get back home. Also, while aboard the Aurora, you glean some more information about your circumstances. Firstly, Altera calls this planet 4546b. Secondly, As of 8 hours after the Aurora's crash, you are the only survivor, and your name is Riley Robinson. I think that this is the only time the main character's name is mentioned in the whole game. And finally, you learn that there was a plan to send a crew down to the planet's surface during a gravity slingshot maneuver to find another ship that may have gone down here earlier, the Dagazi. More on that later. You now spend your time climbing the tech tree and descending deeper into the ocean's depths, chasing leads about the aliens and their quest for a cure to the disease, which you learn that they called Kara. Your progress is gated by your need to upgrade your vehicles to be able to dive to greater depths and explore further alien facilities. As you explore the world around you, you stumble on evidence of the Dagazi expedition, which apparently crashed here a while back. By exploring their abandoned bases, you learn that there were 3 survivors of the crash: the captain, his son, and a hired mercenary named Marguerite Maida. They originally started out with a base on land, then moved underwater to the Jelly Shroom Caves, and finally moved to a location 500 meters below the surface, where the audio log sounds like a Reaper Leviathan attacking the base.
Chief, get off the radio and put on your helmet.
What?
Brace!
Their fate is unclear, but Marguerite was last seen clutching onto the neck of the Reaper Leviathan. Back on your main mission, eventually you piece together that the aliens believed they had a lead on a cure, a substance they called Enzyme 42. It was produced naturally by a giant creature that they called the Sea Emperor Leviathan. It turns out they had one in captivity, and you arrive at its prison to find it still alive, much to your surprise. Not only that, but there are some eggs, but they have been dormant for a long time. The Sea Emperor communicates with you telepathically, telling you that the aliens tried to force her to hatch the eggs, but she refused because she did not want her children growing up in captivity. She says that if you open up a portal to allow her children to leave the prison, she will give you the recipe for enzymes that will cause them to hatch. You take the bargain, and after the eggs hatch, the babies start to leave globs of the precious Enzyme 42 floating in the water. Slather some on your hands and you're cured. Hooray! The Sea Emperor children float off through the teleporter and live happily ever after, probably. Cured of the infection, you can now return to the enforcement platform and disable it. With that done, you're left with only to gather the remaining materials that you need to build the rocket and blast off to freedom and the end of the game.
Welcome home to Alterra. Permission to land will be granted once you have settled your outstanding balance of 1 trillion credits.
Below Zero is not quite a sequel, hence not being called Subnautica 2 itself. It is referred to as a standalone expansion to Subnautica. Take that for what you will. Nonetheless, it takes place 2 years after the events of Subnautica. You play as a different character, not Riley Robinson, the sole survivor of the Aurora crash who cured the Kara bacteria and escaped from planet 4546b by sheer force of will, but as the intrepid Robin Ayu, who received a message from the Alterra Corporation stating that her sister, Sam, had died in a tragic accident while working on planet 4546b. It seems that after hearing Riley's account of his experiences on planet 4546b, Alterra decided to return to the planet to plunder its natural resources, like you do. After receiving Alterra's message, and skeptical of their conclusion that Sam died due to, quote, employee negligence, Robin catches a ride to 4546b, steals a small shuttle and a drop pod, which she then promptly crashes into the general area where her sister was working. She starts to investigate the Alterra facilities in the area in an effort to piece together what her sister was up to and what ultimately happened to her. However, her quest is quickly derailed when she starts to receive something that sounds like a distress call.
That sounds like a distress call.
Upon investigation, it is coming from an alien facility which reports that it is housing the mind of one of the architects. Also, by the way, it seems that we've decided to start calling the aliens architects from here on out. Anyways, the facility is running critically low on power. When Robin hears the facility say that it is looking for a storage medium to which to transfer the architect, she offers her PDA. But, to her surprise, the facility transfers the architect into her brain.
You are in my head? I offered you my PDA! Get out!
And so the architect, giving his name as Alan, lives rent-free in Robin's head, quite literally, for much of the game.
My whole life I've been dying to meet a sapient spacefaring alien up close, and you're telling me your name is Alan?
Is it insufficient?
But he tells Robin that the architects have designed synthetic bodies from biological and mechanical components, and there exists a facility on this planet to make him a new one. This becomes the main goal of the game. Find and scan the 3 major components of the architect body, gather the necessary materials, and make him a new body. In the meantime, Robin continues her investigation into Sam's death. Ultimately, she pieces together what happened. Alterra had found a dead Leviathan encased in ice, still infected with Kara. Predictably, they decided to do some research on it, despite the extreme danger. Remember that this is the bacterium that caused the architects to quarantine this entire planet, and was responsible for the deaths of 143 billion of their kind. Sam expressed her deep concerns to management, but nothing really came of it. So she decided to take action herself, and despite her expertise being in robotics, not biology, she managed to create an antidote to Kara, and had a plan to inject it into the frozen Leviathan, destroying the bacterium there. Somewhere along the way, Sam made friends with Marguerite. Remember her from the Dagazi in the first game.
Stop right there, Alterra. You're out of bounds.
I'm not with Alterra.
We last saw her trying to kill a Reaper Leviathan that had attacked their base. It turns out she survived and set up camp here in the area, and she's been hiding from and antagonizing Alterra ever since they landed here. After some negotiation, Robin gets Marguerite to tell her what she knows about Sam. Marguerite shares an audio log in which she convinced Sam that her plan to neutralize the Kara bacterium from the frozen Leviathan didn't go far enough.
Then what you gotta do is seal off the whole cave. I've got just the stuff. Made it for fishing, but it blew the whole ice shelf halfway to deep space. Vaporized all the fish.
Okay.
And you gotta hit the lab too, or there's just no point. Actually, you know what? Let me take care of that one. It'll be fun.
While Marguerite succeeded in her mission, Sam's part did not go so well. She was interrupted by the security guy, Parvin.
Parvin, stand back. Don't come any closer.
Why? What are you up to?
Parvin, I mean it. Stop.
They were both killed. The cave-in part of the plan wasn't a real success either, as the cave is still accessible when Robin finds it.
I sense many things here. Death among them.
Robin is, however, able to locate where Sam had hidden the antidote, and completes Sam's original plan of administering the antidote to neutralize the bacterium in the frozen Leviathan. This act gives Robin a bit of closure, now that she understands what happened to Sam and is able to help accomplish Sam's goal of preventing Alterra from continuing its research on Kara. With that out of the way, once the 3 alien body parts have been located and scanned, Robin gathers the required materials and heads down to the special facility that the architects have tucked away for this exact purpose. During this sequence, Robin asks Alan some questions about what he's doing here on 4546B. He tells her that he led the research team to find a cure to the Kara bacterium, and he takes responsibility for its escape from containment. He explains that upon discovering that sea dragon young produce an enzyme useful in fighting the bacteria, enzyme 42 from the first game, he incubated their eggs to expedite their hatching.
But
It would appear that sea dragon parents are stronger and more motivated than our facility was rated to handle.
He's making reference to some events that you might have pieced together from the first game, in which you find the disease research facility destroyed.
This alien structure appears to have collapsed to the sea floor,
alongside logs indicating that it was rammed by a Leviathan. Nearby, you may have found the Leviathan skeleton, with your scanner indicating that trauma to the head likely resulted in its death. Alan's remarks confirm what you probably suspected from reading this information in the first game. With its eggs being held in the facility, this sea dragon desperately tried to free them by ramming the facility. Unfortunately, its efforts were in vain, as other logs indicate that all but one of the eggs, 314 of them, were destroyed by the containment protocol. This conversation confirms that this incident at the disease research facility is how the bacteria got out and caused the pandemic. Anyway, now that Alan is in his fancy new body and out of your head, he says he needs to return to his homeworld. Firstly, to find out if any of them survived. and secondly, to make amends for unleashing an apocalyptic plague. Robin says that she wants to help. It's unclear exactly what help she can offer, but nonetheless, she decides to go with Alan.
Do you still wish to leave with me? Beyond this teleporter, there is no turning back.
Are you kidding? I can't pass up a chance to see where architects come from. Besides, I don't have another ride.
And so the unlikely duo set off together to Alan's homeworld. On the way, Robin and Alan discuss what they will find on the other side. Either an abandoned planet, his people having been wiped out by Kara, or a populace that will hold him accountable for his most grave error and judgment. The credits roll without revealing which outcome has come to pass. So that's it for the Subnautica story so far. What will Subnautica 2 bring? There's not too much official information to go on right now. The marketing materials just have this to say. A new world awaits alongside an all-new story. You are a pioneer traveling to a distant world, but something is amiss. The ship's AI insists you carry on the mission. This world is too dangerous for humans to survive, unless you can change what it means to be human. What creatures, intelligent or otherwise, await your arrival? So, what do you think? Do you still work for the man in Subnautica 2? Will we get to find out the fate of the architects? Will Marguerite ever do the dishes? Only time will tell.